I'd like to welcome everybody back to another episode of All the Way Around. I'm your host, Big Al 360, along with my co-host,
Nick the Cat.
And today we have a special guest. Any music that you heard, probably in the last 30, 40 years, maybe longer, right?
Who is this man? Who is this guy you're talking about?
This is the #1 engineer in the game. Anybody who had a hit record, he put his hands on it. We'd like to welcome Mr. Dale Rambro Ramsey.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
get it.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
get it.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
get
What
it.
up, everybody? What up, world?
Ram, thank you so much for coming on our show, man. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, Big Al.
We got a collection of some of Ram's work around us.
Who are some of the people you work with, brother?
Who?
Oh, wait, we got to start from the beginning.
Go to the beginning.
Yeah, go to the beginning and give us
dig in the
give
crate.
us- give
Dig
us
in the
your
crate.
list.
Dig in the crates. Oh, we got to go back to the 70s, y'all. We got to go back to the 70s. Ooh. Well, in high school, I played saxophone, flute, and the Whispers band. I was in the 11th grade. It was like
Did you just say the Whispers?
The Whispers.
You talking about the twins with the big thick
twins.
mustaches and all
The
that?
twins with the big mustache. Yeah.
Oh,
Hold on, wait till you hear the list, bro. The list is going to
Scotty
blow
and
your
Walter.
mind.
What's up, Scotty and Walter? Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Rest in peace, Big Nick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who else, Ram? Give us the list.
Ooh. Okay. Wow. Ooh. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Uh-huh.
Opened up many shows with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was in this group called Spectrum. Actually, I started out as a performer.
Okay.
Before I got into the technical end of making records. I was in this group in San Francisco called Spectrum, and we opened up for Earth, Wind, and Fire, Santana, Sly and the Family Stone.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Big dogs.
And I moved to Los Angeles to join a group on Motown Records called Peacock. And, was that Motown worked with everyone. Wow, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Temptations,
Crazy.
Diana Ross, Rick James. Switch wanted me to switch from my band to their band. Thanks, Greg Williams. Switch.
The Switch, that's the brothers with Al DeBarge and all them?
Yeah, I remember when they came up to the company. They came around 80. Yeah, they came in 80. Yeah. And Bobby and Tommy and Greg, my boys from Switch, introduced the DeBarge family to the label. And Tina Marie came that year, too.
She sang.
Oh, yeah.
Rick had her singing.
Actually, one of my mentors, Art Stewart. Art Stewart was Marvin Gaye's personal engineer, producer. And when Rick James came to the company, he said, whoever did got to give it up. That's who I want to engineer and produce with me on my records, which was Art Stewart. And he produced the group I was in called Peacock. And so, I did a lot of work with pretty much everybody.
Now, you worked with Rick James?
Smokey.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Let the list ride, because he's getting ready to drop someone.
He's getting ready to get comfortable. Go ahead, give it to us.
Yeah, the list at Motown goes crazy. I mean, we had the studio sunrise, sunset. We had sunset every morning from 10 to 6 p.m. And from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. was the Commodores with Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie.
Yes, and I used to hang out with them. After our session was over with at 6 o'clock, I used to just hang back and just hang out in the studio with them. And, hang out with Carmichael, the producer, and learn a lot of tricks from the Commodores, a lot of tricks for my engineering that was coming up. But as far as my engineering, I went to a school in San Francisco. What's the name? That's Golden Gate Recorders. I don't think they're even around anymore. This was back in '76, before I went to Los Angeles in '79, and I really wasn't enrolled in the school. I had a band after Spectrum, and my bass player, his roommate came home and was rehearsing in his front room, my bass player, Lincoln Warren, and his roommate was named Chris. And Chris came home and said, "Oh, you guys rehearsing?" He said, "Man, I just enrolled in this recording school in San Francisco, and we need a band to be guinea pigs for us."
Okay. So you didn't set out to be an engineer?
No.
That wasn't your goal?
No.
All right.
No. If you want to go way back to the beginning.
Yeah. That's what we're here for, brother.
I started playing saxophone in the 7th grade. And I actually had a singing group during that time. And which, the #1 artist back then was James Brown.
Oh, man, that's tough.
I was little James Brown.
Yeah.
And then once I started playing saxophone, they started calling me Maceo.
Maceo's tough.
I turned into Maceo Parker. I wasn't James Brown no more. I turned into Maceo Parker. And so I actually started out as a performer. And then, like I said, in 1976, when Chris came home to the house they were living in, he said, "Oh man, you guys were in here rehearsing. I need a band tomorrow to record at the school I'm going to." I said, "Okay, we'll go, sure." He said, "You get a free demo out of it. 3-song demo." I said, "Sure." So free studio time back then was like, wow. So we was rehearsing in Richmond, so we had to go to San Francisco the next day. So went in there, we did 3 songs. I think I did like 2 originals, and I remember doing Sarah Smile by who's Sarah?
Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates. Yeah. We did that, and so
Yeah, that was tough.
yeah, we recorded the songs, and so we went into the control room, and the instructor at the time, he said, "Great job, you guys." And so all the students were standing around along with me in the band, and so he said, "Okay, we're gonna play the songs back." He said, "So I want one of the students to step up to the console and do a fade on this song." Everybody was so intimidated. They said, "Oh, that sounds so good. Nah, I ain't gonna embarrass myself, right?"
So you stepped up?
I stepped up. I said, "Can I do it?" He said, "Sure. You know how to work a console?" I said, "Sure. I've been in the studio a few times before."
A few times, yeah. Right, okay.
So I stepped to the console, and the song was going, and I did a nice smooth fade. He said, and everybody started clapping. Yeah. That was great. He said, "That was pretty good." He said, "Would you like to come tomorrow and watch us do a lacquer of your song?" I said, "Sure." So I went the next day.
Yeah.
And that's where is this where Rambro was born?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
That's why I was born as an engineer. And I went quite a while. And I wasn't enrolled in the school, but he left the door open, so I went as much as I could. And crazy thing about it is, we used to call him Crazy Chris too. Chris, where are you, Chris? I don't remember ever seeing his name on the back of an album. Ever. But
he taught.
No. He's the one that asked me to come and be the guinea pig.
Oh.
So,
Thank you, Chris.
Well, you see all the albums behind me.
You see the plaques.
They dedicated you to Chris. Okay. All right. So
once back on the list, because we just lightly touched the list so far.
I seen something with the Temptations or somebody.
Yeah, that's actually my first.
There we go, over there.
I would say that was the Temptations. The Temptations, a Christmas album, 1980. That's actually my first gold platinum award.
Oh, that's awesome. The Temps.
The Temptations.
The Christmas
album.
Ram, you mixed that record?
I'm actually playing on that record. I played the synthesizer solo on This Christmas. I'm playing saxophone solo.
I never knew that. Oh, awesome. Okay, I
can't sing, y'all.
Yeah. So, as we go along, it's like every record behind me has a different story.
And this is just, I've been to the studio. There's thousands of records, gold plaques at the studio. Like, there's no wall space. Everything is covered by a plaque. So this is just a couple of them that he brought for us to see.
Yeah.
But okay, go on with the list. Give us the list.
I have to give big ups to another mentor of mine other than Art Stewart at Motown. Big ups to my first mentor was in San Francisco. Wow, he just passed away too. I'll come back to it. My mind is early in the morning, you know.
We're good.
But actually, the very first studio I ever went to in my life was called the Record Plant in Sausalito. And Tom Fly was the engineer. Tom Fly engineered all the great big records. Sly and the Family Stone, Larry Graham when he had Graham Central Station. Ooh, and the list goes on. Rick James when he came out in the 70s, he did some of his albums there. I mean, a lot of the big rock albums. And Tom Fly was big up to Tom, too. Tom passed away as well. Yes.
So you was able to travel through all this.
Oh, wow.
Some of your favorite places?
Spain, Germany, Berlin. England was, we was based in Germany when I was with NSYNC back in the 90s.
See, we're jumping here. We got to go back to the list. He just jumps from I went from the studio to NSYNC.
Okay, all right, okay. Fred Cotero was my first mentor from a studio standpoint. Fred Cotero managed the band Spectrum that I was in, and unbeknown, I just found out since the internet. I went on the internet several times, and I said, let me look up Fred Cotero, not knowing that he was vice president of Columbia Records.
Wow.
Back then, had no idea of A&R. He had been imported to San Francisco from New York.
So wait a minute. So you were working with the vice president of A&R at Columbia, and you had no idea.
Didn't even know it.
Wow. But he offered us a contract. He said, this is the same contract that was offered to the Pointer Sisters. And my band leader turned it down because he used to run around with the bass player from Santana Group, Dave Brown, rest in peace, as well as Ray Gardner. He was the leader of our band Spectrum. And so that was the end of that. So like I said, I got signed with another group from Richmond, California, some friends of mine from junior high and high school. And so I went to Los Angeles and joined that band, Peacock, and so we was on Motown. And my rival group at Motown was another new group was called Apollo. The lead singer was none other than Benny Medina.
Benny Medina was the lead singer
of Apollo.
Okay.
And he was in the group with Kerry Gordy. Kerry is the son of Berry Gordy.
Okay.
And probably 10 years forward, a lot of people don't know this, but if you look at the credits of The Fresh Prince, it says Benny Medina and Quincy Jones. Actually, Benny Medina is the Fresh Prince. It's his life, not Will Smith's life.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Benny Medina
so it's
is
really
the Fresh
based
Prince
off of him.
It's based off his
Benny's
life
story.
living at Berry Gordy's house.
Wow.
Wow.
So Uncle Phil is Berry Gordy.
It's Berry Gordy.
Oh, wow.
That's tough.
That's dope.
That's good information.
Yes.
Hold on, we got it, because he'll float.
Hey,
We gotta
keep
go
going.
back to
Keep
the
going.
list.
Get him,
We gotta
get
go
him,
back
get
to
him.
the list.
Go back to the list. Okay. So I leave Motown 80 something like that. So worked with Michael Cooper from Confunction. Did an album with Bobby Womack.
Okay.
The Poet. I did the Poet albums.
You did that album?
I did that album.
That's tough.
I'm playing keyboards on that album.
Oh, wow.
Bobby Womack.
And then that brings me to my next mentor, Barney Perkins. Mr. Barney Perkins. Barney Perkins. Oh,
The story's getting better. Go
wow.
ahead.
Mr. Barney Perkins, great engineer. Super great engineer. He did the Asia album. And some other, what's the name of that group? Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
He worked with all the best.
Oh, man. Yeah, Barney Perkins is great. And he did the Anita Baker records. He did Lionel Richie records. Barney Perkins is everywhere. He used to come down here to Atlanta and work with Ellie and Babyface.
Okay.
And I never came down to Atlanta because this is where I thought all the brothers was doing the engineering at, you know. So I ended up going to Boston.
Now, what was up in Boston?
New Kids on the Block.
Oh, okay. Now, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. So now we're New Kids on the Block.
Maurice Starr, my friend Maurice Starr. Yes, sir. So I became Maurice Starr's personal engineer, co-producer on many projects other than New Kids on the Block. And I got another plaque called the Sister Act plaque. It's from Maurice as well.
Okay. The movie Sister
The movie
Act.
Sister Act.
That's right there on your other side.
Yeah. Yes. Maurice is great. Probably one of the best producers ever. And for a few years, he was the number songwriter in the world. So I learned a lot from Maurice Starr songwriting, and just a great guy. And turned out I was 2 weeks older than him.
Okay.
he never liked that.
So you engineered the New Kids on the Block records.
Oh man, yes. Oh man, don't ask for the dirt though.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna come back to the dirt. I just want the list to keep going because the list is amazing.
Woo, the list from all the boy bands. Okay, let's see. New Kids on the Block. And when we was on the Summer Magic tour in '90, Maurice had a chance to do Color Me Bad, turned him down. He turned down, what's the little boys that wore their pants and jackets backwards?
Crisscross. Yeah.
He turned them down, and a year later, both of them hit.
Yeah.
Color Me Bad and Crisscross, and Maurice said, wow, I got New Kids on the Block, guys. And everybody else can't win them all.
Yeah.
You know, so I ended up doing Color Me Bad, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Wow. That's pretty much on the boy bands. And then,
Well, they was all heavy hitters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're the big, they're the super groups.
Yeah. And then, let's go to hip-hop.
Uh-huh.
I was doing an album with Eazy E, and
Who are we sitting here? Who is this?
This is Rambro. Rambro is the best engineer on planet Earth. I'm trying to tell you, bro.
this is like '95. I was getting ready. We was doing an album with Eazy E, and I was producing Dolomite's album, Rudy Ray Moore, Dolomite's album. And this was like 3 weeks to a month before he passed away.
Wow.
And we was having all these meetings and everything, scheduling, Rudy to come in the studio to, and then next thing you know, Eazy E went to the hospital, and 11 days later he passed away. So I took over the rings. I took over the rings as producer on the album then, and that album we had Old Dirty Bastard from Wu-Tang Clan, we had Ice-T, we had Tone Loc. Biggie was gonna be on the album. Some contractual things didn't pan out.
Good.
Big budget too, right? So Biggie didn't get on the album, but we had quite a few, and then a lot of local up and coming rappers was on schedule for the Rudy Ray Moore Dolomite album. Yes. And I come to Atlanta, after I was on the road with NSYNC in Europe, and talking about on the road, we went completely around the earth, you know. And so when I get back in 1998, I called my friend Maurice Starr. He had come to Atlanta. So this is how I get to Atlanta, okay?
Yeah.
This is 1998. So we got back in January. I called Maurice. He said, hey, Dale, man, I need you to come to Atlanta. I got this brand new group. It's going to be the Gospel New Edition. I said, okay. So May 1st, I landed in Atlanta, and I never went back.
Okay.
You've been here since?
I've been here since May 1st.
Okay.
Only thing I went back for was my family and our belongings, and we moved stock, lock, and barrel to Atlanta. And I was mixing at a studio called Patchwork, the #1 studio in Atlanta. And Curtis Daniel was the studio manager at the time. And so after 3 days, I was mixing this quote-unquote gospel R&B album, and he came to the room and he said, yo, man, I've never heard the room sound this good. You got this banging, and that's a gospel album? I said, yes.
Who was it?
It was a group called Five Young Men.
Okay.
It was a group that Maurice Starr had put together. Some young guys, like, you know, all the groups he put together. New Edition, New Kids on the Block, Five Young Men. And so I was mixing the album. Curtis Daniel comes to the room and he said, man, where you be? I said, well, I live in Phoenix at the time. And he said, but I be all over the world. I said, I just got back from on tour with this group called NSYNC. He said, who? Nobody had heard of NSYNC yet. You know, they hadn't come to America yet. So
that's the plaque there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the first album, yeah.
Okay.
And so he said, man, we need somebody bad in this town like you. So I said, okay, I'll think about it. So I went back to Maurice's house in Alpharetta, and I said, Maurice, the manager of the studio offered me a gig. He said, oh, really? He said, man, I'd love to have you back with me. You can come live with me.
Wow.
Stay here forever. I said, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I got a family and stuff, you know, so. I was in town for about, let's see, from May to October. How many months is that? May to October, May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 months. And I flew back to Phoenix, put the house together, and jumped in the truck. And we came to Atlanta. Yeah.
Now, does Atlanta have its own sound?
Yes, it does.
Can you explain the sound? What it is?
Ooh, 808.
Okay.
They adopted the 808, and nobody else can take claim to the 808, like which has turned into trap music, you know. And just so happened, I did the first trap music album.
Is that right?
T.I.'s.
T.I.'s. Oh, so you was on T.I.'s?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hold on, we got to go back to the list. We're jumping.
Well, I mean, hey, he
Let's
got
go
so
back to
much.
the-
Let's
let's
go.
go back to the-
So we'll
okay.
go back to the list. So you touched down in Atlanta.
Touchdown
So
in
now
Atlanta.
you're here. You're in
I'm
Atlanta.
here in Atlanta. Very first group I got was, well, I was doing a lot of local acts. I was actually doing the Attic Crew, which turned out a few groups. Jim Crow with Polo and the Cats.
Polo the
and
Don.
Polo
Yeah.
the Don. And who else? Little John.
Little
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little John was always coming in the studio. You know, Little John was A&R for
Jermaine, right?
Jermaine during the time. Yeah. And so he was always coming in the studio. I was working with Little John a lot. But go back a year or so, my first big act at Patchwork was Raekwon and Wu-Tang. That's where it started.
Raekwon the chef.
Ray the Chef. He was doing his solo album, and
That
you
was
know,
tough.
Yes, sir.
Yo, that was tough.
Yeah.
I told you, Ramsey.
Ray the
Man, I
Chef.
told you.
Yeah, my boy Ray the Chef, boy. And you know, he brought Method Man in and a few other guys from the Wu-Tang Clan. And I had already worked with, like I said, I worked with Old Dirty Bastard on the Dolomite project.
Well, hold on. Let's rewind just a second. So, Hey Dirty, you did that. The Baby, I Got Your Money. You did that.
That was yours?
No, I didn't do that one.
Oh, you didn't
I didn't do
that
that particular one. I did
but
a
you-
couple of songs on him on the Dolomite
With
album.
Dolomite. All right.
Yes, sir.
But you did only Built for Cuban Links.
No,
Raekwon's first album.
let me see. No, it wasn't that one. It was called. Oh, what was that album called? It was his second
It
album.
wasn't a purple.
No, it's a white album, and he's sitting on a stoop or something like that. What was the name of that album? But I know one thing. He
What?
named the song after me. I had long drags during that time,
Uh-huh.
and I remember what happened was, you know, his entourage was very big. You know, probably like 30
That's
people.
the Wu.
You know, he had his own clique other than the Wu-Tang Clan, right? And he had this one song that he wanted some singing on it. It was probably about 20, 30 people in the studio, you know, and so he was auditioning everybody. Can you sing this line? Can you sing this line? So I'm sitting over in the corner, as I usually do, and I was sitting by the computer. And he was auditioning people for about 35 minutes, 40 minutes, and he said, who can sing this dang line, right?
Yeah.
And so I just got tired of him trying to sing the line, and I sung the line. He said, who's that? Who's that? And one of the guys said, the dude sitting over by the computer. He said, Dreadhead can sing? He said, man, now, why did you let me go through all that knowing that you can sing? Right?
That's what's up.
And so he named the song My Favorite Dread. That's
you.
that's me. Look up that song.
That's
Find
dope.
what album that is.
My Favorite Dread.
My Favorite Dread.
All right, so keep
Raekwon.
going. Keep going. The list is gonna blow your mind. Keep
Hey.
going.
Oh
I'm
wow.
here.
So.
So
ooh,
T.I., Raekwon,
Raekwon, then Luda.
then Luda.
Yeah. Luda came in the studio. I did his first 5 albums. Okay, during this time also,
He got the plaque back there.
yeah. And at this time, I had started doing studios.
See, I know a lot of this. So he started building studios in artists' homes for them, like
Yeah.
building
Yeah,
their
that's
personal
what's up.
studios.
Yeah.
And you built Luda's studio, right?
Luda, T.I., Greg Street, who else? Frank Ski.
Yeah.
Wow.
Salute Greg Street. Yeah, we gotta salute Greg Street.
Greg.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Greg put us together.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so-
Greg is the man. Greg is Mr. Atlanta. Yeah, G Street. Yes, sir.
T.I., Luda.
Yes. I was doing studios with Chick Kusick over at Atlanta Pro Audio. And wow, I did a lot of work with Chick at Atlanta Pro. So I was doing studios with him. And when I say studios, I wasn't swinging the hammer.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
You know,
designing.
yeah, I was
it.
helping to design and picking out all the equipment and helping to install on the equipment. So Ludacris was probably the biggest install. Yes, it was the biggest install here in Atlanta. And
Go back to the list, Ray.
back to the
We gotta
list.
go back to the
Ooh,
list.
Back to the list. So, yeah, because I will wonder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the list. Ooh. Young Jeezy. Ooh, Young Jock.
Shout to Big Block.
Big Block. Yes, sir. Thank you, Big Block. Yes, sir. Gorilla Zoe. That was one of his artists also. I know I'm going to forget.
I'm gonna help you some. Goody Mob.
Goody Mob. Oh, boy. Goody Mob. Wow. Ooh, wow. Yes, sir. Goody Mob. And the crazy thing, I worked on records with Andre and Big Boy separately.
Outkast.
So yeah.
So you
put
done
them
did the
together,
Outkast joint.
The
Wow.
separate joints.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wow. Ooh. Oh boy. I did so much stuff with Greg Street. Oh man. Did records with you with Greg Street. Yeah.
360.
Yeah. Nappy Roots. We did the Nappy Roots.
Nappy Roots.
Yeah.
Akon.
Yeah. Akon.
We did Akon.
Ooh, I did several things. Oh man, Cash Money. How can I forget Cash Money?
You got the plaque. The plaque's over here.
Right.
You got the plaque there.
Man, how can? Man, let me tell you.
Cash Money.
Yeah,
Hold
Cash.
on, wait. We got to interrupt real quick. He calls me on the phone. He's like, Big Al, C Murder wants you to do his record. I said, he's in jail. He said, don't worry, we'll get you the stuff. So it's like a day later, I got the files, and I'm like, how did? Don't worry about it. We got him a phone in there. He did his vocals on the phone, and we're gonna. And I said, Ram, I'm not. I don't even know where to begin. He said, don't worry about it. We'll do it over the phone. So we mixed. I produced with the help of Ram. We did C Murder's next single.
That's
it's coming
tough.
out as soon as he gets out of jail. He'll be out soon.
That's tough.
Over
so
the phone.
You just recently did that.
We recently did it over the telephone. We did the record
C
over
Murder.
the phone. C Murder, Master P's brother.
Bomb.
Me and Ram.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back, just a story real quick.
No, but that's good stuff.
We got to go back to the list because he's gonna drift. So.
Ooh. Pimp C and Bun B.
Yeah, there we go.
UGK.
Yo, you're messing me up, man.
There we go.
Actually, 1999. That's when I got. Oh wow. Pimp C came into. Actually, let me see. I had to go back to '98. My first year in Atlanta at Patchwork. I had never heard of UGK before. I probably seen him in one Source or one of those magazines or something like that. And I go to work one day at the studio over at Patchwork, and Curtis says, you're going to have an easy day today. All you got to do is copy these DATs. You have to make DAT-to-DAT copies. I said, okay. So I go in the studio, and I had these DATs, and I had to copy from one DAT to another, make DAT copies. DAT stands for digital audio tape. There was these little cartridges back in the day.
Tapes.
Yeah. And so I was transferring these tapes, and I'm listening to the music. I said, this music is tight. And I was calling them UK. I didn't even know. I thought they was from England or something. I didn't know who they were or anything, Didn't know they was from Texas or anything. So one evening, I was at the studio, and Pimp, his girlfriend, and Hashim comes to the studio. And he didn't record on the 2-inch analog tape. He had these, he would record on the Tascam DA88.
I used them for a while too.
That was Chad Butler, Pimp C's format. So I'm in back of the console, hooking up these D88s to the console. And so Chad Butler, Pimp C, Sanji, his girlfriend, and Hashim, his road manager, comes in. They couldn't see me because I'm behind the console, hooking up the console. And so they come in, and Pimp is talking about the Temptations movie. And I say, and so he just saying, yeah, man, David Ruffin, he was pulling Tammy Terrell around the park and stuff, and he had that Texas slang in his voice, and I cracked up. He said, I was laughing, and he couldn't see anybody. He said, who in here? I said, oh, and I stood up. I said, it's me, Rambro. I'm your engineer for the night. And he said, why was you laughing? I said, well, you kind of sounded funny with that accent you got in. I said, and the timeline on that movie is a little off. I used to work at the Temptations. You used to work with the Temptations? I said, yeah. And so we went, and another question he asked me, he said, you don't mind if I ask how old you are? I said, no. He said, how old are you? I said, I'm 40. I think I was 44 at the time. He said, 44? He said, man, I'm 25. I look older than you. And lo and behold, the very next day I get a call from Hashim, his road manager. And he comes by the studio. He said, yo, man, Pimp wants you to, he wants you to work with him at his studio. So, okay. He wants you to be his personal engineer. I said, okay. So me and
That's
Pimp
dope.
got together and we went to
You and Pimp had a good relationship.
I mean,
too.
we had the greatest relationship. He was like a son to me. He was really like a son to me. I remember we went to the Guitar Center and we bought, let me see, was it Roland 1680? It was a digital recorder.
Yeah.
I already had one, and so we got him one, and so we put both of them together, and we recorded. I didn't bring that album. We recorded one of the singles for the Wood soundtrack on that setup. And I can't even remember the name of the song. But anyway, we did one of the singles for that album. And I did a lot of work with them. We did a lot of singles.
Back to the list. We got to go back to the
Yeah.
list. So
Yeah.
Pimp C, Bun B,
Pimp C, Bun B.
Outkast, Goody Mob.
Oh man.
He worked with everybody.
8 Ball, MJG. Whew. Dang. Wow, I should have my list in front of me.
And we
but-
didn't get to the we didn't get to the boy yet. We didn't get to the OG yet. Did Jay-Z?
Oh man, that same year. Oh wow, yeah. Ooh.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold
the Jay-Z plaque sitting over here.
Wait. Ram did the Big Pimpin' record.
Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, that was tough.
The Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that came about like, ooh, that's a real story behind that record. And I noticed a lot of people have tried to take the credit for what I'm getting ready to tell you, but I am the guy that told Chad Butler Pimp C to do that record.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it. But there's a lot of people that want to take credit to
Yeah,
tell him,
Pimp C didn't want to do that.
No. So the story goes like this. Jay had asked them to do the previous record, which was, what was that record? The Hard Knock Life, the record with that. So he turned them down on that one. And so this record came up, and I remember Chad calls me from Texas. He calls me from Houston. He said, Ram, he said, man, I'm coming back to Atlanta. He said, man, but Jay sent me this record, man. You know, I don't like dealing with those New York cats. Nothing against New York cats or anything. He just felt that down south they did country rap tunes, you know. And so he said, Jay want me on this. He said, Bun done already done his part. Jay wants me on this record. And he sent it to me, and he said Tim did the beat. He said
Timberland.
He said Tim did the beat, and it's got this whistle thing on it. It sounds like Mayberry RFD, and he said something. He said something like that. I don't know what he said, but anyway, I'll meet you in Atlanta tomorrow, and let's see if I'm on. I don't even know if I'm gonna do this record, man. So they gonna send the tape down, and so I get the 2-inch. We go into patchwork. It was Chad, Hashim, his road manager, Malik Shabazz, which was his attorney at the time, and Hashim's assistant, a woman. So it was only us 5 people in the room. And so Chad's like, man, he said, Ram, play the beat. He said, I don't know if I want to do this record, man. I don't think I want to do this record with Jay. And so everybody said, man, you should do it. So you should do it. And he said, okay, all y'all be quiet. He said, Ram, you the OG in the room.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? And so
What did you say?
I was real political. I said, well, you know, we the underground kings and stuff, but, you know, Jay is getting kind of hot. And I think it'll bring us up a little bit out of the underground if we do the record with Jay. He looked at me and said, for real? okay, I'm gonna go with you. I ain't doing no 16. I'm gonna do a whole ass 8. And that's why it's only like.
Yo, but it was hot though. Yeah, it was hot.
Man, it's like when Jay does that record on the concert to this day. He just put his mic out to the audience because everybody.
Yeah, that was it. Yo, he killed it.
Lean up in my cup.
Yeah,
all
he
my
killed
cars
that
got
joint.
leather and wood. Where I'm from, they call it buck.
Yeah, he killed that joint.
You know, and so we did the record, and so he said, I'm gonna do a whole ass 8. He said, play it for me. He took about 5 minutes. He wrote down he said, put my mic on. He went in the booth and ran it down like once, twice, and he said, okay, Ram, I'm done. He comes out of there, he said, I don't even want to hear it. He said, do your mix thing and send it back on up to New York. And so
Or he was defiant.
he said, I don't even want to hear it. I see you tomorrow. Because we was mixing his album during the time, the UGK album at the time. So he said, I see you tomorrow, man. So I mixed his vocals and stuff, sent it on back up to New York. And we did a Cash Money tour. And who was on that tour? It was UGK, Cash Money, Lil Wayne,
That's a nice
Juvenile. Too Short was on. Genuine was on the tour, on and off. Who else was on that tour? Eve and the Rough Riders.
Yeah, it was a nice tour.
Yeah, it was a nice tour. We got kicked off, but because we was making havoc, bro. We was kicking havoc. Everybody wanted to hear UGK. Everybody. I was shocked because I had never been on the road with them. And but the list goes on.
Yeah. Back to the list.
Back to the list. Oh wow. Okay. Did a lot of art. A lot of people came through Luda's spot. Let me see. Nate Dogg, Kanye West, and John Legend. Who else came through? We did records on.
He said John Legend.
Yeah, John Legend was.
Ordinary people.
And Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Oh, that's my dude.
Matter of fact,
Go Kanye.
this was like
Mr. Ye.
He was on his first album back then. He had Jesus Walk Out, and he was opening it up for Usher at the time. So he comes into the town. It was a Friday morning. I showed up at Chris's house because we were working on Chicken and Beer. We was working on the Chicken and Beer album. And so Kanye comes into town, and I walk into Luda's, and I go up to the second floor where the kitchen was, and Kanye is standing there. And Luda said, hey, yo, Ye, this is my engineer, Rambro, this is Kanye. So he said, yo, what's up, Ram? And so he said, so Luda, is a place I can freshen up, because he came right off a tour on the bus, right? So he said, I'll take one of the rooms up there on the north side. I mean, Luda's pad is like a hotel, right?
Yeah.
And so he goes up there, and he said, I need to go out and get some materials for the session. And so he said, oh, cool. Ram will be down the studio waiting on you. He said, because we were working on my album anyway. So Kanye comes back about an hour later or something like that. He comes back with a tray of CDs, about 50, 60 CDs or something like that. So we go to work, and just me and Kanye for about 2 or 3 hours. And he told me I could take a break, but I wanted to see his production skills, right? So I opt to just hang out in the room. So I just hopped.
What was it like working with him?
Cool. He was on the phone a lot.
Yeah.
Going through the CDs and stuff, getting all the stuff that he wanted to sample, because his thing at the time was through the fire, through the land.
Yeah, that was tough.
And speed it
Shaka
up.
Khan thing.
Yeah. And so actually what we were actually working on, but previous to that, we had done the Boost Mobile commercial with Ludacris, Kanye, and The Game. I had never heard, matter of fact, this was around the time The Game's first album. He was on his first album as well. I didn't even know who he was. So that was a big commercial for Boost Mobile. And I did that commercial with him and Luda as well. And so when he came to town on the Usher tour, we was actually working on a song for Shauna. And worked a few times there with Kanye at Luda's. And as the list goes on.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm waiting for the next one. Drop the next one on him.
Wow. Oh, my boy, Colt Ford. Yeah. Hip hop country.
The country joint. What do they
Yeah.
call that? We just said hick hop.
Hip hop. Yeah.
Hop.
Yeah. My Nashville team. My peeps. Shannon and Colt Ford. Yes, sir. Did his first album. Now his history goes way back to when I said crisscross.
Yeah.
They used to work for Jermaine. And
The country guy.
the country guy. And Bubba Sparks.
Bubba Sparks.
I remember Bubba.
The country guy signed to Jermaine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're calling him the country guy.
Yeah, the country guy. And so they got real deep hip hop roots, you know. So, wow. I mean, the list is. I mean, I really should have wrote it down because I can't remember.
Yeah. And we're gonna remember. Once we're done, we're gonna be like, oh, you forgot this one and you forgot that one. And
I know, man.
me and Ram
Sorry, everybody.
have a history of getting on the phone at like 11 o'clock at night and talking till like 5 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, as far as music goes, do you like Prince or Michael Jackson?
Yeah, you gotta pick one, Ram.
One?
Prince or Michael?
I never got a chance to meet Prince. Met Michael several times.
And what was that like?
He was standing in the back room. I remember the very first time I met him in '79. The Jackson 5 had left Motown, and in the Motown building, which was on Sunset and Vine, the Motown building was there. And so the Jackson was always still come to the building because Joe Jackson, his dad, had an office in the building. So, you know, he was their manager. So they would always show up in the building. So we was up on the 15th floor one day, and one of the guys from our group kids, the Jackson 5 is in the building, Jackson 5 is in the building. So we jumped on the elevator and went all the way down to the first floor. And in the lobby of the first floor, it was I forgot the name of the building, First Interstate building. And on the first floor, there was a bank, and there was a little gift shop. And so walked in there, and the Jackson 5 was in there, minus Jermaine, because Jermaine wasn't in the group anymore. And so all the Jacksons was in there with Michael, and Michael was standing back in the store, you know, shy as always, you know. And so we walked in there and introduced ourselves, told him we was on Motown. He said, yeah, good luck, you guys, you know, good luck, you know, being on Motown and stuff. And so that was my first time meeting Michael. And I did a lot of stuff for his dad, for Joe Jackson.
Back to the
Back
thing.
to the list.
Michael or Prince? We're not letting
Yeah,
you
yeah,
off that.
you ain't getting
Michael
off.
or Prince.
Pick one. You can only ride with one.
And say why.
Oh, and say why.
And say why.
And say, me and myself was just talking about Michael and Prince. First on our way up here, first of all, my disclaimer. First of all, they weren't the rivals that everybody think they were. Matter of fact, there's a new YouTube video that just came out this week. Somebody put a nice video together on
That's
Prince
nice
and
to
Michael
know.
Jackson.
That's nice to know.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to it. It's real good.
Mr. Ram, Michael or Prince? You gotta
Michael
pick
or
one.
Prince?
Yeah, he keeps trying to dodge it.
I gotta go with Prince.
You gotta go with Prince.
Bomb.
Okay, cool. Team Prince.
I gotta go with Prince because Prince, I don't know, man. Prince was just the all-around cat, you know.
Here's another one. Biggie or Tupac?
Oh boy.
And why?
Oh wow.
Can't ask why. We just got to get Biggie or Pac.
We might not get an answer out of him.
Wow. Ooh, that's even harder than Michael and Prince. You know what's crazy? What's just the real crazy part? It's like, why do I always end up working with people after they're gone, or after they're dead?
Yeah.
You know, I end up working on their records. I worked on the Biggie record, and I think I worked on the Tupac record as well.
Yeah, you did both of them.
Yeah. I can't. Ooh, that one's a. I can't say.
You got to do it.
Pac.
Pac. There we go. Prince and Pac. Now
Prince
here
and Pac.
comes a bigger question for you. Top 5, dead or alive. It doesn't have to be hip hop. It can be anything. What is
Anything
Rams?
you like.
What
do you
is
listen
Rams'
to?
top 5?
Oh, that's easy.
Go ahead. That's easy.
Stevie Wonder,
Stevie Wonder,
Marvin Gaye,
Marvin Gaye,
Earth, Wind and Fire,
Earth, Wind and Fire,
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
One more, right?
One more.
Prince.
And Prince.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good list.
That's a good list.
When he said Michael, I'm like,
Yeah, I was like, well, hold on a second. He just
Wait a
went against his
second.
joint.
Well, now see, I love Michael Jackson records now. No, I got to tell you that, but I just love Prince talent.
yeah.
I mean, he's an instrumentalist, great producer, great singer, a range out of this world for a guy. The only thing he didn't do was he wasn't a real technical guy. You know, he had, and matter of fact, there's a YouTube video about him, and it's a woman engineer. He only had women engineers.
Oh, okay.
He didn't like working with men.
Okay.
He only liked working with women, and he always had high heels on. His engineer was a white girl, and she said she did his first 4 or 5 albums, which is, you know, that made him who he is, you know. And the engineer that took over after her, she was a white girl too, but she said she only saw Prince one time without high heels, and he was playing. He always played basketball, right?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
played.
everybody's talking about that.
Yeah, he played basketball in heels too.
Said he had a handle.
He played basketball in heels.
In heels.
He's
yeah.
a bad man. He's a bad man.
Okay, Ram.
He crossed you over in some high heels.
Give us your most out of this whole ride. What's your most memorable experience? All we got in the end is memories. So what's the one thing that you cherish? What's the one memory you cherish? The most memorable thing in your career?
Ooh, that's hard.
Or in the who's your favorite artist you ever worked with?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder. Okay. Now what's the so is it a Stevie Wonder memory you have or?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Actually, I mean, when I say I worked with him, I mean, like this close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we were doing a record on an artist named Shadi. Shadi, big ups to our manager when I was on Motown, Anna Gay. Rest in peace, Anna Gay. Anna Gay was Marvin Gaye's ex-wife.
Okay.
And she managed the group that she signed our group to Peacocks. And so we was doing a record on Shadi, which was actually that, come to find out, just a couple of months ago, he brought our group to Motown. My group was already signed to Motown when I joined them. They were already signed to Motown, and I came to LA to sign with them. But this guy, his name is Alan Story. We call him Shadi. He was a big writer on Motown, and so he was real close friends with Anna Gaye. So we was working on his album, and so we go to, I remember it was a Saturday. We go up to the Motown studios, and Berry Gordy was there, and so he introduced us all to Stevie. So we go on in the studio, and so they wanted Stevie to play harmonica on Shadi's record. And so Stevie didn't have his chromatic harmonica.
Yeah.
You know, the one with the push button on the side. That's where you could play it like a saxophone or any other instrument because it goes through all the notes. So they only had some blues harps there. So we put the record on, and so they needed somebody to help to assist Stevie in the booth with the harmonicas. So that was it.
Oh, you know how to do all that, huh?
That was
Wow.
awesome. Yeah,
And
man.
so, because I play harmonica too, and so we had the music stand there, and so when he needed the different harmonica, one note or two notes off a certain harmonica, because blues harmonicas is only like the pentatonic scale, it doesn't have all of the in-between notes, the black notes and stuff, right? And
so you passed him the different
and so I was
harmonicas.
passing him the different harmonicas, and he kept saying, "Let me do another take," and I was saying, "That was great." But guys like him, you know, it's like
Perfection.
it's not great until they think it's
Yeah,
great.
he
You know,
wants
it's
that
like,
perfection.
each take was great, and mind you, there was only, back in the day, it was only 24 tracks on a 2-inch tape. You know, so it's not like today where you got unlimited tracks on your computer and stuff, right? So there was a lot of bouncing back in those days. So, you know, we was doing all these takes and stuff, and so that was my first experience with Stevie Wonder.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
That's
it
a heck of a
is.
story.
Marvin Gaye is the next one. I got
Was he a perfectionist?
Yes. And I remember being in the studio with him once, and so we're in the control room, and so Marvin slouched down in his chair like this, and you bring in the mic, and he's singing right there behind the console.
Relax, like that.
Relax like that. He never go out in the booth and put on headphones. He never put on headphones. He said he didn't like headphones. There was another person I worked with didn't like headphones either. El DeBarge. He didn't like wearing headphones either.
That brother could sing too.
When I recorded him, he didn't want to wear headphones.
We got to hit you with one more question.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kid, he wants to record, he comes to you, and he says, I want to be an artist. What advice do you give him?
He wants to be an artist.
Yeah,
Singing, rapping, don't matter.
doesn't matter.
A kid, he wants to be an artist.
What advice do you give the next ones coming up?
The next one coming up. Learn as much as you can. Go on YouTube and learn as much as you can, because that's the university.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is the university of almost anything you want to learn. Matter of fact, I still go to the university myself.
Would you tell him to go independent?
Yes. Yes, I mean, because right now, was it last Friday? Friday before last, federal judge denied hundreds of Universal Records artists. He denied a class action suit. Because, you know, the buzzword right now is everybody want their masters.
They want their masters.
Yeah, everybody wants
And
the
so,
masters.
but why? Everybody don't deserve their masters.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you know,
Preach.
everybody don't. I mean, if you're like a Prince,
Now, he deserved his.
Yeah. I mean, because if you're the creator of your material,
If you're the creator, you should have the right to re-release.
Exactly.
But
all artists are not the creators.
Preach.
You know.
Well, we're sitting with one of the creators.
Yeah. You know.
We're sitting with two of the creators.
Yeah.
No, I'm half a creator. I'm Ram.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
still
It's
learning.
like, you know, and then I'll say this for my book.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell all the dirt today. You know, what's her name? Jaguar.
Oh, Jaguar, right.
Come on,
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Ram.
I can't be Jaguar today, but you
Yeah,
know,
they're going to have
it's
you
like-
crazy too. Yeah, you know that. Hey, that's
yeah.
just dropping some knowledge out there.
yeah, you know, it's like every.
He's looking around. He's like, they're coming to
every
get me.
flag behind me has a different story other than me just pushing the buttons, okay? Because I sing, I play, and I just do all of it, you know.
And this is just a few of your plaques.
Yeah,
That's just a couple of
just a couple of them, you know. And each one of them got a different story. So people say, "You mix all those records?" I say, "No." What you do on them? I play, I sing, I help write them, give suggestions.
So you're a writer.
Oh yeah,
everything.
And I'm an artist too. And so it just in the last 40 years, I've hung out on the technical end, producing and engineering and that whole thing. But yeah, 15 years prior to that, I was more an artist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Ram, first I want to thank you for being a close friend. I love you, bro.
Yes,
like
sir.
The pleasure meeting you, brother.
My
helped me
pleasure.
tremendously with my we have a history of midnight phone calls.
Yes, sir.
We're both night owls. And I can't thank you enough. I love you. We appreciate you coming on the show.
It's a big deal.
Dale, Rambro, Ramsey, everybody, he's the man.
Yes, sir.
If you need your record to pop, he's the guy to do it.
Yeah, make it pop. Yes, sir.
That's your job. Let's
There
get
we
it.
go. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been another successful adventure all the way around. Until next time,
Bong. Hold that.
that.
Hold that.